Hi guys. Oh, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Just in time for pit lane exit to go green. Welcome everyone, welcome. I was just making a coffee because I'm very busy day at work today, so yeah. Trying to lay off the rum and coke a bit. Timing is everything. Yeah, welcome everyone. I hope you're good. You just followed me on Instagram, did you? Thanks, Ram. I'm doing very well though, guys. Yeah, it's the end to a very busy week. Very busy week, personally for me in my day job. So yeah, the weekend has come. Couldn't come quick enough. So yeah, well here we go. It's FP2 for Monza. And let's see if George Russell gets back out there. Of course, the big news was Kimi Antonelli made his debut in FP1, but it lasted not even 2 laps. We've all done it in sim racing. We've all binned it at Parabolica. But to do it in an F1, in an actual real-life F1 car is something else entirely, isn't it? But, in fairness to him, he was going for it, wasn't he? Where's the pop-up chat box? Oh, I'm using a different one this time, and it takes a while for it to sync up, so I do apologise. It's telling me I don't have an active live stream. Well, I do have an active live stream, so work, god damn it. Don't know why it's suffering, guys. Apologies. Let me see if I can sort it out. But I do have a live stream. What's going on? I can see chat. That's what matters mostly. That's what That's what matters mostly. Oh, the miss good. Yeah, she's good. She's getting very big now. It's a month. We have 4 weeks on Monday. So she's getting a little bit uncomfortable now. Of course, in that home, we're in that home stretch. Well, not me. She is, isn't it? She's doing all the hard work. But I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my. I need to find a different app for chat. So I do apologise, but there's no chat on screen as it currently stands. Hopefully that will sort itself out. I'll see if I can close it down and restart it. I'm doing good though. I'm doing good. Which corner did Kimi crash? P11? Corner 11, the last corner. So Parabolica. So approaching that corner very quickly. Thank you for the sub. You're approaching that corner very quickly, and look, he hit the corner what looked to be very good, and then the car just snapped on him mid apex, mid corner. So it seemed like that there might have been an incorrect downshift, so unloaded basically the rear of the car. But yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for Mercedes to kind of come out with an excuse, or with not an excuse, but a reason for it. What was the reason for the crash? But I haven't seen one as of yet. So, oh, there we go. It's finally up there. But how delayed? How delayed? I do apologise if the chat on screen gets delayed. But look, the chat is on screen, and I do have a more up-to-date chat function here. I've got the direct YouTube one, so I need to sort that out though. Will Kimi crash affect Russell? It will do if he's not able to get out in FP2. He's still in the pit lane. I haven't heard anything on the TV coverage if he can't get in. So yeah, it seems to be okay at the moment, doesn't it, Kristen? So I'm good though, gamer. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, man. He crashed on the entry mid-corner. He was downshifting too aggressive, and his line was a bit tight compared to others. I don't think it was really that tight. I wouldn't say it was tight, but yeah, I think the downshift, upon reflection, looks like the reason why it went that way. Because it's a very you don't just naturally see the car go mid-corner like that. It's either going on the entry to the corner, the rear's already stepping out on the entry because you've carried too much speed, and you get that you obviously get understeer through the corner, or you on the exit you get the oversteer and you have to fight the car and you then lose it. It never, very rarely do you lose the car on the apex like that. So yeah, the downshift, it does indicate that it was driver error. But look, he went out there, he was going for it, he looked comfortable from the get-go. He should have had more to do out there. So yeah, he'll be kicking himself. But look, Michael Schumacher crashed in Nelson Piquet's car in these early days. So yeah, he'll be out. He'll be out there again. So plus, maybe it's not a bad thing for him. He's found the limit of the car. He's found where the car is, and look, next time around, I'm sure he'll get another. I'm sure between now and the end of the season, that won't be his last practice session we see. I'm sure they'll make use of him at some other point throughout the rest of the season. Kimi being deep, but don't you feel he showed the same speed Max, Charles and Lewis did when he first stepped into F1? Look, it's difficult to say. It was one full lap that he did, or nearly 2 full laps, but yeah, he went out there and he was going for it straight away, and he did look comfortable. But he's done lots of testing in the W13, the W12, so it's not like that was his first ever experience in F1. Oh, sorry, in an F1 car. It's just obviously first experience in a current F1 car that has implications, obviously, on George Russell's this weekend, as he's still in the pits, and of course is in front of glaring eyes, rather than, of course, behind closed doors, which the previous tests were at. So, Sainz and he crashed in that corner. So yeah, there's a few drivers. I mean, the safety car did it yesterday. This new track surface, I've got a feeling we're currently on, guys, the longest streak since 2011 of races without a safety car or a virtual safety car. 6 races now, I think we've had. So I think this weekend, with the brand new track surface, I think we're going to see a crash at some point this weekend, which is going to bring out a safety car. So Toto must really be seeing something in him. I would have thought Sainz, Merck, Kimi, Williams for a year or two, better play. Yeah, so I think Toto was trying to get Kimi into the Williams. I think he was trying to convince James Vowles to take Kimi, but James Vowles just wants his own drivers. He doesn't want a loanee. He doesn't want a young driver from another team. Like, he wants his own drivers contracted to him, which respects at the end of the day. Like, that's what you're trying to correct, like, bring your team forward. You're not really going to be able to do that if those young drivers can just be pulled away out of that team at any point they start showing kind of good form. That's not to say Albon and Sainz won't obviously be keeping an eye on the driver market and wanting a seat in Mercedes, Red Bull, whatever, if it becomes available in the future. But yeah, it's they've obviously seen something in him. I mean, he's got a very, very good junior Formula career. He's very aggressive. He's got a similar Max Verstappen-esque driving style, I think. He's very clever in his overtakes, if you've seen him in F2. So, yeah. Ricciardo seems to have good pace, not going to lie. Monza, well, he's always gone well at, hasn't he? He's always gone well at Monza. Hamilton looks quite good in the Mercedes. What was interesting in the first practice session was that Max Verstappen was at the bottom of the top speed leaderboard. Now, of course, we don't know what power, we don't know what engine modes they're running, what battery modes they're running, fuel load. There's a whole number of reasons of why the Red Bull could be at the bottom of the speed trap leaderboard. But what is a factor is that they're definitely running what looks like a bit more wing than everyone else, which they've always generally tend to have done at Monza. But is it going to be enough this year? They've had that advantage in previous years, but we know that that's disappeared over the course of this season. So let's see how they get on. Might be okay for qualifying, but in the race they might be a bit of a sitting duck. Goodbye, Sargent. Yeah. How do I think the new Williams driver will do this weekend? I think he'll do okay. Look, It's his first race. He's just been thrusted into F1. Him having just an uneventful race and a good solid race, not having any spins, not having any offs, definitely not crashing it, will be a good start for his run into the end of the season. I mean, he's got 9 races ahead of him, isn't he? So it's a great opportunity for him to prove something to the team, and to show that, yeah, if Sainz or Albon move, I'm ready to step in if need be. Hey Bevo, I don't think so. By the looks of it, I'm listening to Sky at the same time, and I am waiting to hear any confirmation on the status of George Russell's car. Albon and Tsunoda noted impeding. We've already had Kevin Magnussen be brought into the stewards for impeding. That looked like a bit of a slam dunk, to be honest. Good old Kevin Magnussen, can always rely on him. But yeah, I don't know about George Russell's car. It was a fair old whack. He might have to wait till tomorrow. Anto really fucked up the car, yeah. And it had the new parts on it as well. It had the new floor. So, yeah. Yeah. What do I think of Franco Colapinto's performance? I mean, look, they were doing a lot of practice pit stops in FP1. They were obviously getting him familiar with the car, the functions. I think what a lot of people forget as well, which is a testament to how good Ollie Behrman's performance was in Saudi, is it's not just about driving the car, it's also about all the multiple functions that these drivers have to remember and alter on the steering wheel while they're going at 150 to 200 miles an hour. So you saw Colapinto going down the main straight earlier, there was an onboard shot of him and he was changing all these different settings, and there's so much for them to get up to speed on so quickly. So it's understandable that sometimes they might not be very good straight out the box if they have to obviously make all those adjustments and not just focus on driving. If there's anything Luke Williams' flaw, then maybe it's a good they don't have it. Who's my top 3 for Monza, gamer? Ooh. I'm going to say, I think it's going to be a McLaren 1-2. I think Norris is going to close that gap on Max Verstappen. I'm going to say it's going to be a Norris P1, a Piastri P2, a Hamilton P3, and I think Max Verstappen will not finish on the podium positions. Outside the top 5, I don't think so, but I do think the McLarens will be fastest. Look, I think Ferrari, they can always... We know... I haven't really yet seen their true pace, I think. Obviously, Sainz there, a 21.2 from him on the medium compound tyre. But, yeah. I think the McLarens are going to be strong here again this weekend. Do I think Sargent should have stayed until the end of the season? No, Violet. I think he should have gone at the start of the year, to be honest with you. I think Williams should have replaced him at the start of the year. And at minimum, they should have got rid of him at the summer break. Is it true Lewis and Russell have different floors? Yes, Marianne, they do, yeah. So the new floor is on George Russell's car, as it was in Zandvoort last year. They haven't put the new one on Lewis Hamilton's car yet, because they still wanted to gather some comparative data. So, of course, Monza being a very different circuit, more obviously emphasis on the top-end speed compared to Zandvoort, where it's a higher downforce circuit, the complete opposite. So they still wanted to gather that data, and, of course, they got one lap until Kimi obviously put it in the wall. But, yeah. I actually think the Ferrari might do well this week. Well, they always do kind of generally well at Monza, don't they, Kristin? Look, I say, I sound like a broken record. I say it every single week now. It's great to go in to these weekends and not know who's going to be the fastest car. We know, I think McLaren at the moment is the best all-round package. I'll be very intrigued to see if there is a level of sort of dominance that we saw at Zandvoort and the Hungaroring from the McLaren. If we see it appear here at Monza, I doubt it. Especially with Monza, there not being a lot of emphasis on tyre management because of just it's all about straights. There's not a lot of corners here, of course, to put load on the tyres. It's more about managing the rears, if anything, because you're going into those hard braking zones and You want the rear traction out of the chicanes, but that's why we've got the softest compounder tyre here this weekend. But yeah, it's all about top end speed. And I saw someone tweet, I think it might even actually have been Spallers from Missed Apex. He said, Monza isn't about how good your car is in general, it's just about how good your car is at Monza, because it is such a very unique circuit. It's unique in its own sense, as just as Monaco is, really, because they bring setups, they bring rear wings that are purely only for this circuit. So yeah, Bottas in P1 FP1 was a shocker considering it was. He needs to do something. Apparently there's rumours that he now might not keep his seat at Sauber Stake F1. So I thought it was looking like he was going to be retained, but maybe not. Maybe Zhou Guanyu's team has gone in and offered another 20 million. You don't know. Or maybe they're looking at someone else entirely. So yeah, still yet to find out. It's the only seat I think left remaining on the grid, with Alpine now bringing in Doohan. Technically speaking, the Mercedes one is still up for grabs, but we all know Kimi Antonelli is going to be announced tomorrow. So yeah, well, I'm intrigued to see who does take that second seat. What do I think about Kimi? I think he's a proper talent. I really do. Yeah, most likely Ash. Most likely, yeah. I think Kimi's a proper talent. So, yeah, I think he'll only learn from it. He would have got over it. I think the good thing for him is that he had F2 in the afternoon to just basically get out there and quickly put it behind him, rather than sit on it and be like, oh, the last time I got in a car, I crashed it, you know? Stroll chilling near the bottom as usual. Yeah, P17. I mean, look, they're all out there doing different runs, so drivers going back out there on the soft compound tyre. So interesting, obviously, the soft compound tyre. I mean, it's never really, it's always kind of like a medium hard compound tyre at this circuit. The undercut's always quite powerful as well. Interesting that they've increased the DRS this time around, guys, by 100 meters. So, of course, with the skinny wings that the teams are running here, the DRS is not as effective. So that's why in previous years we've obviously got into that DRS train where it's quite difficult for drivers to overtake. So they've increased that distance to hopefully promote more overtaking, or at least more action down into the first corner. You think Stake could bring Porsche? Yeah, what is he? Is he still in that Super Formula Porsche? Kevin needs to get in Stake, so we'll have him and Nico. No, I think Kevin's gone now, unfortunately. I think he's had his day. Why Perez still in the pits? Are they cooking something? They were working on the car I just saw, so I'm not entirely sure what they're doing with Sergio Perez at the moment. Non-engine drivers test more is stingy gatekeeping, really. They should get to run more in the current rate cars. I agree, Jimmy, yeah. So this is one of the things that I think is... On one hand, I get why Logan Sargent was given more time, but on the other, I think he never really showed any sort of spark in even his first year in F1. But you compare to when Lewis Hamilton was a rookie, he did hundreds of laps in testing before he got to the official season. Like hundreds and hundreds of laps, and this is outside of like the official pre-season testing as well, because rookies were allowed to do that. Now they're not allowed to. So you think by the time it comes to, even with the official testing, which has to be split between drivers, when they come to their first race, rookies have only done, like, if they're lucky, a couple of hundred laps, if they're lucky, before the full race weekend in these cars to get up to speed with high fuel running, low fuel running, tyre management as well. Trying to go, obviously, single lap pace, like try and combine all these different ways of driving in such a short space of time compared to the likes of Hamilton in previous years where they got countless amount of testing hours. So it's a real shame, and that's why I think sometimes you do have to give rookies a bit of the benefit of the doubt that they're not going to get it right all the time in their first year. Look at Oscar Piastri. He's now coming into his own after that first year in F1. It's difficult to manage the tyres and get to grip with this current set of tyres, shall we say, or model of tyre by Pirelli, and with these cars. And but with the likes of Sargent as an example, as Norris and Piastri both go top there of 120s, 7 thousandths of a second separating them. Very slow last sector really there as well from Oscar Piastri. So maybe he had a bit of a wobble in the last sector. Look at that first sector from Norris and the last sector there from Piastri. That's interesting. Wonder if Piastri's tyres just gave way in the last corner. But yeah, sorry, what was I going back to? Yeah, that's why rookies, like, you have to give them a bit of the benefit of the doubt. There are areas that they can improve, but they have to show a spark. They have to show something that warrants them retaining their position. The likes of Yuki, I was very critical of Yuki, and I still think he's been fortunate to still have an opportunity in F1, and I'm glad he has still got it, because I think he's come good. But he was crashy. He showed like impatience, like anger, but he had flashes. You could see there was a spark there with Yuki Tsunoda. Logan Sargent, nothing. So Logan must have cost Williams 20 million or more in crash damage costs. I don't think it was that much. I think rumoured last year, or estimated to be over £3 million in damage, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's near that again this year as well. Have I tried F1 24? I haven't. I'm not really a big fan of the F1 games, and I saw obviously that the issues with the handling model and so forth when it came out, and it just even pushed me further away from even wanting to attempt to try it. Oh, Lewis Hamilton asking, there's no one out here, need a tow. So they're obviously trying to maybe do a quali run of some sort, a low fuel run. As Lewis did a 121.1 last time around, 3 tenths back. Rookies need at least 1 to 2 years of time till they become a race winner unless they are prodigies. Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, look, Logan Sargent is an example. When you're not in the quickest car, the bare minimum that you can do is... Oh, George Russell's coming out, guys. George Russell's icon is coming down the pit lane. We'll see if that's a glitch or not on the track map, but George Russell has just come out of the pit lane, it seems. Let's keep an eye out on that. Interesting. Okay, well done. George Russell, the Mercedes garage, the pit crew. Round of applause for the engineers. They've been... This is the... It always amazes me, guys, how quickly these engineers, a team of engineers in F1, can replace parts on an F1 car. Like, that car was fairly damaged, and George Russell, with 36 minutes remaining, guys, is out on circuit for FP2. So well done to the Mercedes engineer team for getting that car together after Kimi Antonelli's crash this morning in FP1. You're baking cookies while listening to me, Kristen. It's so relaxing. I'm going to screenshot that comment and show my missus that someone finds my streams and my voice relaxing. Because she might think otherwise. But yes, going back to the 1 to 2 years, I do... yeah, I kind of agree with that to an extent, if they show promise. But Logan Sargent, he couldn't... He was slow. He was in a slow car. Okay, let's say a slow car, like a slower car. And the bare minimum for him was to not crash. Especially if he wanted to keep his seat. But he was going slow and still crashing. Turn 4 incident involving Albon and Tsunoda reviewed. No further investigation for impeding. Interesting. So I think we've got drivers out there trying to look for tows. Well, Lewis Hamilton was at least trying to look for a tow to try and get a fast lap in. P5 at the moment. I mean, look, 3 tenths back. That's the difference between having a tow and not a tow. That is how essential it is round here at Monza. Dropping back behind Leclerc and Lance Stroll. What time is Q1 tomorrow, and what time is the race on Sunday? So I think it's normal European time, guys, for the race tomorrow. Let's just have a quick check. Sorry, the qualifying. So I think it's 11 o'clock UK time will be FP3, or half 11, and then I think qualifying's 2 o'clock. But I will just confirm that now. And it is 3 o'clock. So half 11 is FP3 in the morning, UK time this is, and then 3 o'clock in the afternoon is qualifying, and then 2 o'clock on Sunday is the race. So that is all UK time, guys, just so you're aware. So adjust for an hour or so. Oh, George Russell, I've got something moving around in my cockpit. Oh, he goes, I think someone's left a nut and it's gone into my seat. Albon doesn't think the Williams is slow. Well, this is it, isn't it? This is it. And Sergio Perez is also out there as well, guys. So we do have every driver is going to at least get out here and set a lap time, which is good to see. Good to see. You're from Suriname. Where's that? Will the 25 Red Bull be a Newey project? No, because he's leaving. He can't work on the 25 Red Bull. He's technically in his notice period. So he will be leaving, I think, March next year is when he will be leaving, or April next year, I think it is. So, yeah, still yet to find out where he's going to go. Might not find out till the end of the season, to be fair. Charles Leclerc went P3, which is interesting. Where's Lewis Hamilton? Is he setting a lap? He is setting a lap. He's going green. And wow, Lewis Hamilton with scrub tyres, by the way. He'd already done a lap without a toe, and he got a toe there from Lance Stroll. Goes to the top of the timing sheets by 0.003 of a second. Carlos Sainz up there, 1/10 back. You've got Verstappen and Perez obviously doing different strats here. You can see in 13th and 14th. But very interesting there. Very interesting that Lewis Hamilton to the top of the timing sheets. Does Mercedes have an opportunity at pole position and winning this race here this weekend? Interesting. Hey, Johnny. Newey to Alpine. Well, funny enough, they're protesting, aren't they? They're protesting the potential move to Mercedes engines. Like, that team is basically selling off itself. It's stripping itself apart. It's not going to be Alpine anymore. It's going to be Alpine. I'll tell you what, I don't know what name it's going to be, but we are going to go into next year and Alpine will not be under the name Alpine. South America. Oh, cool. Hasn't Newey been working on a proto car anyways? Yeah, that's all done and dusted. They unveiled that, didn't they, at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. So, yeah, he's worked on that. I think he's been working on the Aston Martin hypercar project as well, which has also been doing some testing around Silverstone. So, it kind of all points to him joining Aston Martin. He's already got connections to Aston Martin. He'll be based in the UK. Red Bull is based in Milton Keynes. Aston Martin is based in Milton Keynes at the Silverstone circuit. I just think they're going to give him a shed load of cash. More than probably what he's on at Red Bull already. He doesn't even have to move and uproot himself to Ferrari or any kind of other team. He can stay in his current home wherever he lives and happy days. So I think he's going Aston Martin, to be honest with you. Hamilton looks focused. And without the new floor as well, by the way, guys. Not the new floor. That is on George Russell's car. Hey, AC. I'm good. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, end of a very busy week for me. So I'm looking forward to some F1 this weekend. I'm hoping to do some sim racing this evening. Hang on. Lewis Hamilton said he lost time into turn 1. Interesting. And Hamilton's reporting his seat is so hot. It's very hot out there. They reckon we could get track temperatures up to 50 plus degrees this weekend. So that's going to be interesting. You heard Alpine could be sponsored by OnlyFans. I think they'll take any sponsor they can get at the moment. No Renault is a big deal, isn't it? It is, because it's branded itself as like a works team. So it's not just them. The thing is that it's them closing down and people losing a lot of jobs in that whole department of the power unit. So that's... Oh, Magnussen. Is Magnussen off at turn 7? Has Magnussen gone off at turn 7? The second Lesmo here at Monza in this FP2 session. The car isn't moving. It is gravel on the outside of the circuit there. Has he just gone off and beached the car? There's a red flag. Or is this a spin and into the barrier for Kevin Magnussen? George Russell also reporting his seat is very hot also. But Kevin Magnussen has lost control of the car in some manner, and the car is either in the gravel or it's in the barrier. Let's just keep an eye out on the TV coverage to see exactly what has happened here. So, watching the TV coverage, we are on board with a Haas, but we're on board with the wrong Haas of Nico Hülkenberg. So let's keep an what has happened with Kevin Magnussen. He's in the barrier at Lesmo 2, Jimmy is reporting. And he's in the gravel on the exit of the Lesmo 2. There's just a lot of dust that I can see. And yes, you are correct. He has gone on at the exit of Lesmo 2, away from the corner, and he has gone into the barrier and is beached. It says he's okay. So yeah, definitely in the barrier there, off of turn 7. So around here, guys, where my arrow is. And what has he done there? Is he locked up? Has he had has that Haas had more brake issues like it had at Zandvoort? He doesn't look like he spun the car there. That's like he's turned into the corner and the car has just gone straight on. So very odd there for Kevin Magnussen. It's not normally a corner that you would lock up at either. So let's just watch the TV coverage. So he's heading into Lesmo 2. Oh no, he does lose the rear of the car. He does lose the rear of the car, goes into a 360. That's very odd for Kevin Magnussen. That is a... Wow. Maybe the tyres just gave way on that Haas. Very interesting. We've seen a few cars, haven't we, lose it, just go round. Is this due to the new track surface? Of course, Kimi Antonelli's, I know that was a bit of a downshift. We saw, of course, the Aston Martin safety car even yesterday as well. We know that was a brake failure, but is this all attributable to this new track surface on the Monza circuit? I think so, Jimmy, yeah, and which is why I think we could see a few of these tomorrow. I think we could see a couple of cars lose it under their own accord tomorrow throughout the race. So tomorrow on Sunday, maybe even in qualifying with the tyres just giving up. I don't know. It's a very odd one. You don't normally see... I mean, look, Kevin Magnussen, we know obviously he's probably on his way out of F1, but that's a very odd move for someone of his experience, or odd mistake of someone of his experience to lose the rear like that into the second Lesmo. It's not a corner where you normally see it go round on entry. It's a corner where you see drivers go wide and then they lose control of the car from going wide into the gravel, but not on entry. Really odd. I mean, Sky weren't in an advert break. I know, Daisy. Honestly, I hate the adverts in practice. He's okay though. Yeah, he's out of the car and he's absolutely okay. Is Kimi ready for the Merc seat? Probably. Yeah. Chuck him in there. Why not? I think he'll be doing some more practice sessions. It's very difficult to be ready for F1 now these days, isn't it? I mean, as long as you're like in F2, I think that's kind of like you're ready to jump into an F1 car. Get up to speed with how the cars are, and probably not that long of a time. It's probably more about the actual function of the F1 car and like the different settings and that, and the tyre management. That's really where it's key. But single lap pace, I think a lot of these F2 drivers could jump into F1 cars and do a decent job. But the actual race pace and the tyre management and yeah, all of those varying, picking the right setup and all the different functions on the car, I think that's a different kettle of fish entirely. Wilby was stating the camber has changed due to the new surfacing and gravel traps. Yeah, well, it's definitely having an effect on the tyres because we very rarely see cars lose it on entry rather than like at Monza. It's always on the exit at Monza, never really the entry. So exactly that as well, Jimmy. Yeah, that's a very that's essential. Hey Gordon, good to see you again, mate. Although Kimi himself said he doesn't feel ready. Yeah, but that's him probably just, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's just crashed a car, but... Do I think RB are focusing more on 2025 and letting Max have the benefit of doubt, but he already won the World Drivers' Championship, as we can see the margin between McLaren and RB increasing race by race? I don't think so, because the regs aren't going to change that much between this year and next year. I think they're fully focused on this year. I think they're still fully focused on Max. I still, and I know like you may, and it's okay to completely disagree with me. We're all here to have a debate and a discussion and so forth. I am still convinced something, and it might not be this whole asymmetric braking thing, but I still think something, the FIA have told Red Bull to remove or alter something on their car, but they have discovered because the performance drop is still, to me, too severe to the other teams. And yet, no, get off the PC. Get the cat out. The one who causes all the issues. Say hello. That's the one who causes all the issues, and I'm always going, no. Loves to sit on the warm PC. She's a cutie, but she's, yeah, loves my attention too much sometimes. What was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying. I still think, yeah, I still think something is not quite... I still think something's been altered with that Red Bull for them to lose such pace and to be struggling with their tyres as much as they have been. I just don't think that's purely a concept issue. So, yeah. Credit to McLaren, though, because they're doing something right. Who knows? Maybe McLaren have found a loophole as well, and they're doing something that is dramatically improved their performance so quickly. It could be that as well. We've seen obviously a lot of the other teams looking at their cars to see what McLaren are doing, or the drivers post-race. So, yeah, who knows? F1 teams are always looking for loopholes and ways around the regulations that can help make their car faster, and that's the name of the game. So, naturally, Red Bull won't... No, exactly. Of course they're not going to. No one is going to come out and admit they've done any fault or wrongdoing, and... The FIA aren't going to do that either, because the FIA never announced that a team has been told to remove something from their car if it's in regards to them finding a loophole in the regulations, or what people can deem to be cheating. So it will be leaked at the end of the season or something by someone somewhere if it is true. It could be completely wrong and I'm just way off the mark. It could be, but I'm just looking at history. When there's been such a drop-off in performance like this from teams in the past, it's because they've been told to alter something on their car. So, but I think a podium, Gordon. We mentioned this earlier. I do think it's going to be the two McLarens. I think Norris is going to win, Piastri second, and I think Hamilton third. And my bold prediction is that Max will be in the top 5, but he won't be on the podium. We need Inspector Vettel, yeah. Who'll win the Constructors' Championship? I think it's McLaren's to lose. 30 points behind them they are now. 30 points behind Red Bull. So, yeah. Look, they've got Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez isn't going to be scoring Like, I think we'll see Perez drop off again. Yes, 6th place was a good finish for him last week in Zandvoort, but I think we'll see. I think we'll see Perez revert to type. Really, if it's not this race, it'll be in the next couple of races, and that's going to be the big difference. So, and they don't have that advantage anymore as well. But the thing is with McLaren is that they have 2 good drivers who are consistently finishing on the podiums. Worst case, they're like P4, P5. So, yeah. Hey, Mark. Why the red flag? Kevin Magnussen lost control of the car into the second Lesmo, which is turn 7 on entry, and he ended up in the barrier. So you can see there the session will resume at 17:42. So that is 2 minutes time, guys. 2 minutes time. So not long to go at all until this practice session gets underway again. Thank you for the subs that have been coming in, by the way, guys. Thank you. Robert Norris, Bags Full, Anish, and anyone else who subbed in the meantime. We'll be back, of course, for FP3 tomorrow, qualifying in the afternoon, and the race on Sunday, as well as some sim racing as well. Does anyone know, is Russell have the new floor? Did the Kimi damage? I think he's still got the new floor on. Quick. I think he's still got the new floor on. Kimi definitely had it on earlier, so. Christian Horner reveals F1 boss asks RB to slow down. Colapinto not bad in this one. No, currently, where is he at the moment? Currently 15th. I don't think he'll score points. No, look, it's too tight. It's too tight. But he just needs to be closer to Albon, doesn't he? That's the thing. Than what Sargent was. They were back to back in the floors. I assume Kimi had the old floor this morning. No, Kimi had the new floor on, Matt. Lewis Hamilton still had the old floor on. So, yeah. Green light, guys. Pit lane exit is open. The headliners on Planet F1. I would take what Planet F1 tweets and posts with a very small grain of salt. Large, small grain, or just a grain of salt. They're not. They like to, yeah, retweet rumors and not necessarily always factual information. They take a punt. They're one of those websites that kind of takes a punt on any bit of information out there, and then when something is right, they'll go, hey, yeah, look how right I was. There's a few people and websites and Twitter pages out there like that, and there's certain sources out there who you should get your information from. We all love a rumor, though, don't we? We all love a rumor, but sometimes it could be a detriment, though. Enhance the narrative, I think it's called. Yeah. It's like having 100 shots on goal and you score 1 and you're like, oh my God, look how amazing that was. But then you completely disregard all of the 99 shots that you completely skied and was way wide of the mark, you know? Right, so if you're just joining us, guys, welcome. Where have you been? Hope you're having a good Friday. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe also. But for this FP2 session, every driver has at least got a lap out there. We've had Kevin Magnussen bring out the red flag for a crash into the second Lesmo, which is turn 7. We are back underway, though, and Lewis Hamilton is at the top of your timing screens. He set that 120.7 with a toe. And it was also a second lap on that set of tyres as well. So he did report his turn 1 wasn't very good. So he could have gone even quicker than that. But he's only 3 thousandths of a second ahead of Lando Norris, who's looking to close that championship lead on Max Verstappen, who is currently down in P13. He did a quali run as well, but I think it got interrupted. But interesting, guys. Very interestingly, let's take a look at the speed trap. As it stands, and well, I just want to show you look at where Max Verstappen is. 199 miles an hour, so it is only 1 mile an hour less than Lewis Hamilton. But he's been at the bottom of the sheets. Look, Sector 2, he's down in 208 miles an hour, P15. And then you look at the last sector as well, 213 miles an hour. So, is that Red Bull not running a high engine mode? Is it them sandbagging a little bit? Or is it genuinely because of that, what looks like a slightly higher downforce wing than what the rest of the teams are running? It almost looks like a bat wing, I saw someone say. But everyone else kind of running a real skinny wing. But Red Bull have never really kind of gone that route of just a Monza specific wing. Whatever they've had at Spa, which is of course another very fast circuit, power dependent, top speed dependent. They've always used that wing in this current set of regulations at Monza. So seems they've kind of done the same here again. But it's a little bit more trimmed. As Lewis Hamilton still reporting, my seat has got really hot again. Bottom of the seat, lower back. George Russell was also reporting similar things as well. No other team reporting that. Engine mode, potentially, Matt. Yeah, potentially. Who's your favourite driver, Gordon? Go on, let us know. Hamilton just towed Russell. Yeah, well, that'll be the case, of course, at this circuit in qualifying. You need a good tow. You wish you could learn sim racing, always play F1 games on Xbox, PS5, but I'm bad and find myself just twitching the analog stick and never feel in control. A wheel would 100% make you would improve the experience for you. There's good, cheap alternatives out there, or entry-level wheels to get yourself started. That's how I started. I was like you. I'd played on the F1 games, Project Cars 2 on my controller. And then I bought myself a Thrustmaster wheel. I think it was £200 at the time, with the pedals that came with it. And I just bolted it to my desk or clipped it to my desk if it comes with it. And yeah, got started. And now I've got, as my missus likes to call it, a transformer going on with all these different parts and it's amazing equipment. And yeah, it's brilliant, mate. So yeah, would massively improve the experience for you. And have a look at some Logitech and some Thrustmaster wheels. That'd be my advice to get yourself started. They've not run the soft tyres either, Red Bull. They did in the first stint, I think, didn't they? Sorry, the first practice session. I think they ran some softs. The Red Bull wing is less skinny than most, though. Is it, Matt? It looks like it because they've got like the bat wing type of thing. But can I explain what tow is? Of course I can, Pop. So the tow is basically slipstream. So if you're in the slipstream, if you're behind another car in front, then of course you're going into clean air, which means you go quicker because you have less resistance from the air in front of you. Imagine when you run, if you're just running, you feel the wind in your face. Well, when you've got a car or a person in front of you, you don't get that because they're taking the air resistance away from you. So you're, with that less resistance, you can go quicker. And at a circuit like Monza, where of course there's very long straights and it's all about top speed, having someone in front of you punch that hole in the air and give you that slipstream, give you a tow, as if they're like towing you along with like a tow rope, basically. That's what we mean by it, and that's what's essential. So when we say Lewis Hamilton just gave George Russell a tow, he was giving George Russell that slipstream so that he could go quicker and set a relative lap time, because that's what we'll see in qualifying on tomorrow afternoon. Hope that makes sense. Monza best bet, over 2.5 race leaders, 7 races in a row with 3+ leaders, 5 leaders last year at Monza. Also, if Norris gets pole, he has never led. Yeah, he's still not led from first lap, has he? Please show the sector's individual timings. How do I do that? I'm not going to alter that right. Oh, the sector individual timings. Apologies, I've got the sector leaderboard here. That's how I do that. Here we go. So these are the sector times at the moment. So as you can see, Piastri first in sector 1 and sector 2. Hamilton fastest in sector 3. You can see Verstappen down there with both Red Bulls in the first sector in 17th and 18th. A good 4 tenths back from, or 3 tenths back from Piastri. And then in sector 2, Verstappen, as he was in the FP1 session, was quick in the second and third sector. Of course, the first sector mainly about the top speed, of course, because that is pretty much the first sector is indicated just on the exit of turn 2. But I think that finishes from turn 2 to turn 3. Hey Vosh. My pleasure, Ash. Any question? There's no such thing. Well, there are such things as stupid questions. Anyone who says there's no such thing as a stupid question, there are. Just like they say the customer is always right. They're not. Anyone who's worked in retail will know the customer is definitely not always right. Lando's your favourite driver. Good choice, good choice. Less resistance in a toe, but it's dirtier. Yeah, it depends how close you are, Addison, doesn't it? So in qualifying, generally, you can get a circuit like Monza. You can still get a slipstream from around a second back. So you're not too close to get the dirty air from the car ahead. It's like because you can be too close. There's a point of where you can be too close and the dirty air is more sufficient of where it's been displaced. So yeah, there's like a sweet spot of where you want to be. And of course, you don't want to be too close for, especially through the chicane in particular. Yeah, that dirty air at the different angles, you're driving into the dirty air and not the clean air. You only want to drive into, obviously, the clean air at all times, hopefully. But yeah, but when you've got that offset of angle of driver ahead going through a corner, you want to be a certain distance back so that the dirty air is not as displaced, especially under braking. How much damage, by the way, did Merc get from Kimi's shunt? I think in the end it was not too bad. I think it wasn't too bad. It looked like it was suspension. It looked like it was mostly front left suspension, maybe a bit of floor damage. The fact George Russell is out so soon indicates that the internal damage of the car probably wasn't that severe. With those shunts like that, it's not so much the visual elements that are the issue. It's more about the gearbox, the battery, the engine. Has that taken any damage, of course, from the force of the impact? Don't know why Merc are complaining about a hot seat. Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Obviously, getting some heat. Maybe it's because they're riding very low and they're the car is scrubbing along the floor and they're getting the heat because of the friction for the floor, or is it because they're getting? Is it the actual power unit which is behind them? I don't know. Could be a number of reasons why they're getting very hot seats. Colapinto points incoming. Increase to McLaren have good top end and fast in sector 2. Yes, yeah. So, I mean, that just shows how much of a well-balanced car the McLaren is at the moment, isn't it? They said that they don't really fear any type of circuit at the moment, and yeah, with the way that they've gone this season, you have to. The data definitely suggests that. Hamilton, middle sector. I mean, Hamilton was. I mean, Hamilton's first lap. Hamilton's lap that he has set on the timing sheets now is him currently in P14 in sector 1, and he did state over the radio that he set his first sector or his first corner was quite bad. I think he went a bit deep, and he still set the fastest lap. So there's improvement there for Lewis in the first sector for sure. But I think it's definitely, looking at this practice session, it looks like Hamilton is the closest challenger to the McLarens, I would say. Maybe still yet to see Ferrari's true pace. Probably still yet to see Red Bull's true pace as well. Maybe we'll see that tomorrow in FP3. I don't think we're going to see that now. I did a lot of fiberglass and carbon fiber weight in my days, and a crash always needs a very thorough body check. Yeah. Everyone like the stream? Yes, please, guys. If you could like the stream, much appreciated. How many likes have we got? 100 likes, exactly. Go on, you can hit the like button. You can. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button also. Don't look too much into it at the moment, Levy. Don't look too much into it at the moment. It's been... They're doing some long runs at the moment. Look, Max is on 13 lap mediums. His last lap was a 24.7, which was interesting to see. That's same pace as what Lando Norris just set. How is George? So George Russell's now on a set of softs, so we might get a run. It's a very busy circuit at the moment, but we may get a last lap. We may get a qualifying lap here from George Russell as he's just backing up to let some cars through. Is he going to go for a lap now and slot in behind Charles Leclerc? I think that's what George Russell's doing. So let's keep an eye on George Russell. He's going to get a tow here. A little bit of a tow from Charles Leclerc down the main straight. But it's not an ideal tow for what he would like. But let's keep an eye out on George Russell's times. He's at the bottom of the timing sheets at the moment. It's the only driver not to set a lap on a set of softs. So let's see how he gets on. Red Bull on the long run, yes. You can tell they're on a long run by the amount of laps they've been on that tyre. You can see Max Verstappen on 14 lap mediums. So George Russell, a 26.6 in the first sector from him. That puts him 9th in the Sector 1 leaderboard times. Of course, not the ideal tow that he got all the way down the start straight there. Sorry, the start-finish straight. So heading through the second sector, the first Lesmo at turn 6, second Lesmo at turn 7. We've seen Kevin Magnussen go off already and bring out the red flag. And George Russell's second sector time as he heads down to the Ascari chicane puts him up to 10th. So 9th and 10th in the first and second sector for George Russell at the moment, as he now makes his run down to Parabolica, which is turn 11. Can you get grid penalties for impeding in free practice? You can indeed, Gordon. Yes. Yes, you definitely can. So George Russell probably would get a little bit affected there by Yuki Tsunoda's dirty air in the wake of that RB car. And he goes up to P6, a 21.0. So 3.5 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton. And really, that's not too bad, really. That's not too bad considering he didn't have a tow all the way down into turn 1. Probably didn't get one. Well, he definitely didn't get one down into turn 4 and 5, and most likely got affected in the last corner as well. So that's the decent time there from George, considering he had no tow. Hey, YG. I'm very well, thank you. And welcome, Gabriel. Good to see you guys. RB20 might struggle this weekend. Look at the McLaren's pace right now. Yeah, so if we look at Lando Norris, 13 lap mediums, a 120.7, Piastri a 120.8 last time out, Max Verstappen a 121.6. So, we'll see. Qualifying is going to be really interesting because there's so much more emphasis on qualifying now. Like, it's so tight at the front. Like, let's say the two McLarens are on the front row, right? Lewis Hamilton's in the mix. If he actually gets a decent, qualifying for once, and let's say you've got the two Ferraris show some pace here this weekend, and Max qualifies 5th or 6th. Like, that's a lot of positions between him and P1, and it's difficult to overtake now in these cars because of how close they are. You need such a big delta to overtake, or like an undercut or something. So. Yeah, qualifying is going to be really interesting. Still yet to see the true pace of that Red Bull car, though. Mission of Dutch Anthem 2. Forgotten what it sounds like. Pole position last time was a 120.2. Was it, Romeo? So we're half a second off that at the moment. Half a second. But Lewis Hamilton, last lap, 26.9. Norris at 29.0. Piastri at 29.6. I think Hamilton got held up by a bit of traffic. Lando Norris is in a bit of clean air. Piastri is in a bit of traffic at the moment. Lots of drivers. Turn 4. Escape road. So lots of drivers having little lockups, it seems, into the turn 4 chicane and not taking to the escape road that they've got there. They've introduced like a strip of gravel now at turn 4. I'm not sure how effective that's going to be, but I can't tell whether that's a good thing or... Is that a good emoji or a bad emoji, Rajat? I can't tell. I'm going to take it as a positive. Checo got to step up this half of the season or he is cooked. 100%. Yeah, 100%. I think he's out at the end of the season anyway. I think he is. So, checkered flag, guys. There we go. Wow, that hour went very quickly, even with the red flag. So, yeah, checkered flag. And there is everyone out on circuit at the moment, apart from Kevin Magnussen, who is, of course, in the pit lane. He's in the pit lane because he binned... Well, is he in the pit lane? I don't know. He probably is, but the car most likely isn't, as he binned it into turn 7. But there we go, guys. Hamilton P1, Norris P2 by 3 thousandths of a second. Carlos Sainz in P3, Piastri P4, Leclerc P5, Russell 6th, actually getting some running after Kimi Antonelli's crash earlier on. So good job by the Mercedes engineering team. Nico Hulkenberg in P7, Ricciardo, not too bad. They're sneaky in P8. Alonso and Stroll in 9th and 10th. Bottas. Ooh, are they going for glory runs, though? I'm taking that with a pinch of salt, Bottas's times, because we know that Stakes Sauber is a bit slow. Magnussen 12th, Albon 13th, Verstappen and Perez 14th, 15th. Just focusing on the long runs. I think they most definitely had their their single fast lap, qualifying lap interrupted, so that's why they're down there. 16th is Yuki Tsunoda, Colapinto in 17th, Gasly and Ocon 18th and 19th. This is really a track where the Alpines get caught out. It's not been a good previous couple of seasons here for the Alpine cars. And then Zhou Guanyu, as is the case at the moment, is at the... he's down in 20th position. I mean, if he stays on the grid next year, Zhou Guanyu, 50 million is got to be what he's offering. 50 million. Yep, see you tomorrow. Okay. No worries, Gordon. No worries, buddy. Can RB win? Not RB. Red Bull can, not RB. My pleasure, Pure. My pleasure. RB saving tyres for quality and Sunday. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't see the soft compound tyre really being... the soft compound tyre isn't a race tyre at Monza. Unless there's a safety car, a late safety car or something, it's not a viable choice. Even with the low deg that you get here, it just we're on the softest compounder tyre. It just doesn't really last that long. And especially with how the Red Bull is at the moment, they may just be saving them for qualifying. That may be what they're doing. But I think they're going to have to use some more tomorrow, because otherwise they're going to run out of brand new mediums. They're going to run out of, well, no doubt they're keeping the hard tyre for the race on Sunday. Generally, Monza's always a one-stop, which is why Monza, we kind of need a safety car or something to boost the entertainment aspect of Monza. Otherwise, it can be a bit of a boring race. But yeah, we'll see. I'll be practice free tomorrow, Daisy. Definitely. See you, Christian. Enjoy your cookies. Leclerc 20 laps on medium, Albon and Zhou 20 laps medium, and Verstappen as well. Yes. Yep. Tsunoda also on 14 laps. Gasly. Yes, there was a few long runs there. Hamilton and Norris both did 16 laps. Their times didn't look too bad. Hit like before you sign off. Yes, please, guys. Yeah, hit that like button if you can. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We'll be back tomorrow for the FP3 session, which will be at 11:30. I'll be going live a little bit earlier than I did today because I've got a little bit more time on my hands. So, yeah. Cheers, AC. Thank you, guys. So, yes, it's shaping up to be a good weekend, as we expected to see Norris and Piastri up there. Let's hope, guys, fingers crossed, Lewis Hamilton does not decide to change his setup this evening for Saturday. He does it all the time. He's had a good Friday. Leave it at that, Lewis. Leave it at that. Oh, my God. If he changes the setup now... I mean, I don't know what he could possibly change on the setup at this circuit, because there's not a lot that you can probably gain from setup change, because it's all about top speed. But Don't touch the setup, Lewis, please. Someone send him back to the hotel. Just go. Go back to the hotel. Stop it. Leave it at that. He's winding me up. Why the amount of collision reducing in lap 1 of races? Are teams avoiding taking the battle in the first lap and waiting for DRS? I don't know, to be fair. I think it's just the nature of how these cars are now, Arnold. They're so big. Yeah, maybe the drivers are just being a little bit more cautious on the first lap. Yeah, I think it's also maybe an element as well of it being the same driver lineup that we've had since last year. So everyone kind of knows who everyone is, and we need some new fresh bloods on the grid who are going to take a bit more bolder decisions and moves at the start of races. Maybe everyone's come a little bit too comfortable with each other and their positions, and they kind of know where they are. I mean, I am a little bit surprised about that we don't see more first lap incidents, because considering how tight it is and difficult it is to overtake at the moment and make up positions, especially in those points positions, because of how far ahead the top 4 teams are. So you're talking eight positions there. If Perez gets his act together, basically being locked out. There's only 2 places up for grabs for points, so I'm surprised the lower teams don't take more of an opportunity in the first lap to gain some positions, because that could be so essential to their race. As I said, DRS now no longer doesn't have to be wait. You don't have. Sorry, let me restart my sentence again. You don't have to wait for DRS for 2 laps now. It's opened on the first lap. So yeah. We'll see. It's a bit more of a longer run down into turn 1, but also there's less room for manoeuvrability with these cars. They're the largest cars we've ever had. They're going to get slightly smaller, aren't they, for 2026 or the new regs whenever they arrive. So there's less room for these cars to move around the circuit. Even as you look, like Monza's a very wide circuit, and you look at 2 of those cars go side by side, there's not a lot of room for a third. Whereas you go back a decade, there's so much room for like 4 cars to go side by side. So that's why they kind of look quicker, even though they're not from a decade ago, because they just look more nimble and more agile. So just lock up all these technicians, yes, and no one can actually change it. You can see Mert struggling with the high temps. Maybe, Scott. I mean, the difference is, though, is that the high temps might not affect him so much because of the nature of the circuit of Monza. There's only one real high-loaded corner, and that's Parabolica, which is turn 11. The rest is all about the rear tyres. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's Hamilton's had a good Friday. Don't touch the car. Don't touch the car in the day. Trust yourself. Trust the setup. And who knows where they'll be tomorrow. But yeah, I think it's shaping up to be a good session tomorrow. FP3, maybe we'll see I think we'll see the true pace of the Red Bull come out in FP3. And then, of course, qualifying in the afternoon. But yeah, guys, I'm going to call it there. Have a lovely rest of your Friday evening. Hope you've enjoyed that practice session. If you want to return and you like the content, hit the subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow. Hit that like button. At 11:30, turn your notifications on so you get notified half an hour before we go live. And yeah, I'm going to be doing hopefully I'm going to be doing some sim racing tonight as well. That is the plan. I'm trying to do more sim racing content, guys. August was a very busy month for me, and I'm hoping now, as we approach September and of course October, with a little one, I'm getting quite a bit of time off, increasing the sim racing content for you all. Live sim. I'm going to try, Scott. Yeah, I'm going to try. I need to nip out with the missus when she gets home from work. But yeah, I'm going to try. So that's what I've been slacking on, and I want to get back into that. So as well as just the videos as well. What's the time here, dude? Time here is nearly 5:15. 5:10. So yeah, end of the working day. But yeah, guys, have a lovely Friday, rest of your Friday, and we will catch you tomorrow for FP3. Turn those notifications on, and yeah, we'll see you then. Cheers, guys. Bye.